Hi, how are you? I'm here to see Mr. Kenny Goh. Our guest today started this business at the tender age of 17 with his two brothers. Now that's an inspirational story. Today, we speak to Mr. Kenny Goh, CEO of Macro Kiosk, which is a mobile technology enabler. I'm Ben Ibrahim, and let's go learn how to be your very own boss, as this is Entrepreneur. It's that time of the week again. It's time to get inspired because today we're talking to Mr. Kenny Goh, CEO of Macro Kiosk. Kenny, welcome to the show and thank you very much for being with us. Kenny, the media call you and your brothers boy geniuses because you started this business at 17 years of age. Tell us about that journey.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Ben. It was my pleasure meeting you as well. It's definitely a big word to be associated with genius, right? But kind of like yes, and also mentioned that we started way back when I was 17 years old. At that juncture in time, we have nothing much to do beside, doing what we do best, which is our hobby. So whatever that we turn out today is something that is not, honestly, is not planned. And today, it will be like hobby turns to be a business.
I think he's a guy with many dreams, actually. But I think the main thing is that for him is that he wants to have something of his very own. I think that's really his dream. Despite, of course, he wants to be engineer, doctors and all this stuff, which is the normal kid stuff. But I think the most that I can see that he really wants is to have something of his own. And I think through Macro Kiosk is something that given him to have the ability to own and really manage it. I mean, he has no dream to be like multi-millionaire, tycoon, all that, but really to have something he feels his own, and I think that is what he wants as part of his dream. Really. Yeah.
Tell us, where did the idea come from?
The idea come from is kind of like a mixture of many factors, because our dad, he's a businessman as well. Kind of like perhaps it's inherited by him. And somewhere in 1997, he managed to get himself a master distributorship of a Japanese-made mobile phone. Right? Nice. So that time, myself and the other two brothers, we are very fascinated with mobile technology. But again, at that time, mobile technology is still very limited to the concept, and perhaps the rollout, it takes some time. So it's more about the idea of the mobility and so on and so forth. So of course, being a master distributorship, there's a lot of engineers coming in and out. So we kind of like tag along with Daddy to work. And from there, we share a lot of insights with the engineers. So we got to know that, there's a new breakthrough in this particular area, which is the mobile technology can be part of a daily usage. So from there, it evolved to what we are doing today.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, what about the startup resources when you first started? I'm sure it was quite thin, especially being 17.
All right. Of course, it's kind of a good thing that you say thin, but as a matter of fact, it's nothing. There's nothing for us, all right?
So we start with zero.
Yeah, start with zero in terms of like, what we have is only knowledge and the excitement in doing what we want to do best. So of course, when the reality hits, you need money. So we have no choice but to go back to Daddy. He's our first investor. I mean, we are very proud of him. So Daddy brought us to the registrar of company and put things into motion with reasonable capital. All right. So the only thing that Daddy say is, guys, please make sure that every year you make enough to renew your business license.
Wow.
So that's
good advice.
Yeah, that's my first investors require us to do.
Has this business always been a client servicing business?
Yes, it has always been, because perhaps in the IT related business, it's more of like we need to fulfill the needs of the client. It's very much service oriented. So even today, Macro Kiosk, we are also a very service oriented business. I mean, we don't have off the shelf products and services. What we do is basically we go and understand what are the challenges that our clients face. So from there, our objective is to achieve the 3 C's for our client, which is make them more competitive, make things more convenient, and of course cost savings.
As the business has developed over the years, are you more now a consultant to your clients? Because it's very easy just to give the clients what they want, because if you give the clients what they want, it's not necessarily giving them what they need.
Yeah, very true. I mean, our role is also very much consultation based. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't have the off-the-shelf product. It's not like you come to MacroKios, we will provide you, okay, this is a suite of product from A to Z, right? It's more of like
it's intangible.
Yeah, it's intangible, and how we can assist a business to leverage a mobile technology. That's our vision as well as our mission, right? Or our daily mission that we go out, we help businesses, irregardless whether it's a Papa Mama shop, or even, according to the Fortune 500 companies, that we will help them to leverage on mobile technology.
So how do you sell it? When you approach a client, a prospective client, how do you sell it?
We will attach with a scenario. That's why we have our people from a diverse background. We have teams of people that from the financial and banking institutions, from the aviations, you name it.
So by industry.
Yeah, so we have people by industry. So that why we need to create that is so that we will understand the industry. By understanding the industry, we were able to propose. So what we do is basically we go in with things like, for example, will you want to get closer to your clients? Or you have something that you want to shout out. Would you want to leverage a bigger market share? Or probably you got a service that you would like to go global or regional. So you talk to one company like us, we're able to bring you that. But what matters most is we always be ready, try to understand our client and be in their shoes so that we will see what are the challenges that they face, and hopefully with the knowledge that we have on the mobile side, we're able to help them to leverage on.
As a business, when did you first start seeing the revenue and the profits? They usually say it takes a while.
We are pretty fortunate. We incorporated officially year 2000. Kind of like in our papers, we say that it's about 18 months to see the first profit, because we want the first 18 months to focus on the technology, the platform that we created, the connectivity and so on. But again, with our team of dedicated engineers, we completed it in 12 months. So I would say that the first year of operation, we already seen some revenue and profit.
Okay. What do you think you did right in that first year to get profits? What was the turning point? What was the learning curves?
I think it's very much to be focused. The main challenge that we always face is a mindset. So we need to maintain a very good perception. We do nothing but to get the platform out. The connectivity is right, the testing is good before we go out. Because again, in a service-oriented industry, there's no second take to perception. Okay. So your first impression is very important.
First impression is very important. And the most important lesson there from Kenny is testing, testing, and testing. Test your service first before you put it out there in the market. We're just going to take a very short commercial break right here on Entrepreneur, but when we come back, we're going to learn more about MacroKios. Stick with us, don't run away, right here on Entrepreneur. Ching, ching, ching. It's that time of the week again where we learn how to make your own money, as this is Entrepreneur with me, Ben Ibrahim, and today we're talking to Mr. Kenny Goh, CEO of MacroKios. Kenny, how does this business make you money? Tell us about your revenue generating model.
First and foremost, the industry that we are in is still considered a pretty new industry, despite the technology is like perhaps 20 plus years. So what we do is we are also one of the first few that we champion or we draft up a business model for the industry, be it how we charge our client and be it how we assist the mobile operators to make new revenue stream. So our business model is very simple. You connect to us, you pay a certain fee, then from there we go on revenue share.
How about internally, your business plan? Right. On a PowerPoint deck, how many slides? How does it look like?
It depends which year you're asking me. Like for example, if we way back in year 1998, 99, I think it's only 6 slides.
Nice.
Right?
Short and sweet.
Not even a deck, perhaps.
Okay.
Right? But today, with the evolvement of our business, with more
the growth.
The growth of it, the people that comes in or the demand of the business landscape, yeah, we have a deck of anything like perhaps 10 to 20 slides.
Now, cost and overheads.
Yeah.
What drives up your balance sheet? What are your high operating costs?
The biggest lump sum would be from the human capital.
Manpower.
Yeah, manpower. Because nowadays, you know, you don't want to pay peanuts and get monkeys, right? Sometimes you
The good old saying, yeah.
Yeah, the good old saying. But these days, there's even more. You pay premium peanuts, but you still get a normal monkey, right? So again, I think the talent part takes up quite a bit of our costing. But again, it's also for the long term, right? You need the correct people, the correct mindset for them to work within this industry. Because yes, we are under the IT industry, but stroke telecommunication. It's also a pretty sensitive, it's also very specialized, that we have been very focused from day one. So we need the people with that kind of knowledge and experience to deal with our clients, right? And of course, God bless, today everyone would like to leverage on mobile technology. So again, we also, I always say, mindset is the most challenging thing. Managing perception is also another thing. So of course, we need the correct people to do that.
How many people do you have in your organization?
As of today, around the region, we have 200 plus.
Wow.
We are still hiring. It depends which country that we are talking about. Over 14 different nationalities.
200 people worldwide. How do you bring them together on the same page?
Fortunately, I owe this to my team of people, that they put things into perspective in terms of like KPI, SOPs, standard operating procedures.
So the objective approach.
Yeah, so we need to adopt that, because you know we are aggressively hiring. We are aggressively making our inroads into different industry. Today we are powering 18 different industries. We have 2,000 clients over 37 countries. So these are some of the facts and figures, right, that we need to keep up the momentum. As a matter of fact, over the years, because we are also one of the companies that first started venturing into this business, so there's no system that we can buy off the shelf to fit our industry. So very often than not, we develop it ourselves.
He is someone who has got good visions, very vision. He always does. He always has visions. Vision that beyond the state of where he is now. For example, even back in school days, he isn't just a student who actually goes to school, gets homework done, go for exams. He always has visions beyond that. Same goes with what's now as well. Now he's leading a company which has got 200 employees, reached the 100 million revenue mark, but he always has a vision that goes beyond that. And he's someone who will actually strive, pursue, and do all it takes to achieve his vision.
Kenny, you spoke earlier about perception. What kind of perception is perceived of you and your colleagues when you walk into the client's room for the very first time? What do they think you can do and can't do?
The first impression has always been a blurry impression, where you know, firstly they will attach you to your age, as in like, you got a young team that walks in. They might not know what we are going to present and so on, right? So very often than not, like I said, you need to be prepared. And of course, you will need to do your presentation, share what you can do or what your expertise in. Our method in doing things is very much, you know, we share the scenario so that you can convince them that this particular technology that we are offering, that we are sharing with you today, it works. It helps you to achieve your cost savings, convenience, and be competitive. The take back is, don't be inferior in terms of what technology or whatever services that you can offer to your potential clients. Talk to them, engage with them, create a good communication point with them so that they will understand. Because IT, very often than not, is all about concept. It's just like an agency pitching for some advertising campaigns and so on. It's all about concept that you need to understand and your clients need to understand so that they buy in. Because once they buy in, voila, I can tell you, it will be with you kind of like forever.
Okay.
As long as you do everything.
Voila.
I would say the belief that he has, the determination, he's always motivated. He dares to take risks, calculated risks of course. He's never afraid to challenge the giants. He's very diligent, he listens to others. In fact, he's a leader.
He's definitely a visionary. The good thing also is he's very down to earth. He listens. He's not the bossy kind of person, so he listens to his staff and then he, get things done based on everybody's views.
I think I mean, there's no one characteristic. I think he has multiple characteristics. The main thing that we see is that he's a very meticulous person, and also he's a very hands-on guy. And you know, he's also being very popular in our office to be known that he's a very long-winded guy. And as such, he goes into very in-depth and starts to talk to everyone. He starts to explain about what he wants in very detailed. So I think that really, well, in a way that you might think that it's a very long-winded thing, but it's also very meticulous that makes it things to be very perfect as much as possible. And I think that really makes him successful, or to be different from the rest of the people that can drive this business to be better and better. Yeah.
Tell us how you plan to grow the macro kiosk business in the next couple of years.
We need to have plans. As of today, we are very much different from when we first started. All right, these days, I mean, we are established, we got clients from all over the world, so definitely we have plans. Of course, our plans, it ranges from a few perspectives, from our regional expansion, right, setting up more offices around the region. As we speak, we have a team of people that are identifying the marketplace. So of course, we need to upkeep with the technology landscape. So whatever the new technology comes out, we need to embrace it so that we understand it and we can share it with our clients so that they can leverage it. So in terms of expansion, we have two approaches. One is our regional expansion, right? We establish more offices, we hire more talent, right, to capture more market share. And the other thing is to roll out more products and services.
And final question before we go for a short commercial break. What's your view on investments and portfolios to gain more cash?
Personally, if you were to ask me, all right, you have a bit more money in your pocket, you have always the upper hand.
So it's a good thing, yeah.
Right, but if you have the money and you don't know how to use it, it's also a challenge. Like us, we use our money accordingly, or use our reserve or our war chest accordingly. So I wouldn't say that a certain amount of war chest before you can go out and do a business. But it's just that we need to invest accordingly, and we will just be prudent and we move according to the business landscape.
So yes or no, would you do it?
Personally, yes. Right?
That's the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Business, we are very focused. We will do what we need to do, and we will continue with the mission and vision.
But be prudent.
Yes, be prudent.
If you're going to do a financial investment with a financial portfolio, be prudent and be extremely careful, because money is cash and cash is king. We're just going to take a very short commercial break right here on Entrepreneur. But when we come back, we're going to ask Kenny about hindsight in the macro kiosk business. Stick with us, don't run away, right here on Entrepreneur. Are you the type of person that can admit your mistakes? Well, every entrepreneur, unfortunately, has to make one or two mistakes to learn, and that's why they call it hindsight. Kenny, tell us about some of the mistakes that you've made in business, but has made you a better entrepreneur.
Of course, I also believe that I'm a person willing to accept a mistake, because to me, failure is only a feedback, so that from there you will learn and make a better person, or making the company even better. I think one of our biggest mistake is because we grow fast.
But that's not your fault, is it?
It's because we go so fast. Sometimes there are a lot of areas that we might oversee in terms of like talent nurturing, the products and services that we might roll out. And of course, it's also the culture that we instill. So these are some of the, if we were to funnel it down, is because we run too fast.
Now, what about maverick techniques that you've used which worked, which brought a lot of success, financial and non-financial?
From a company point of view, right? Maverick technique, I think, is very much, we always practice that. It's just like when someone say, when you cook a fish, what you do when you cook a fish, you don't overdo it. Right. So some of the areas that we adopted is you don't overdo certain things and don't make things so complicated. Right. So a lot of our techniques, a lot of our strategy is like we go in clean, sincerely and truthfully. Right. As in like these are the things that we can offer. For example, Macrocures, we went through a lot of, or we experienced quite a bit of crisis. Right, 97 we had one crisis.
Tough times.
Yeah, 2001, 2002 we have the dot-com bubble burst, the 2009 crisis and so on. So basically we kind of like make ourselves agile and kind of like go in the right time to propose to them, to propose new methodology, new solutions that also again can help these businesses to overcome the crisis that they're faced in from their particular industry. So these are some of the ways that we go in and establish our relationship with clients.
Now, after all these learnings, mistakes, good Maverick techniques, it all paid off because last year you were the Enterprise Asia Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Tell us about that award and what it means to you.
That award is very dear to myself because from Macrocare's perspective or from an individual perspective, we are not all out to get an award. But again, this particular award certainly gives me the necessary moral booster, which I do appreciate. And as a matter of fact, you know, I do hope that there are more organizations that coming out to certify an entrepreneur. So to them is anything possible, right? And it can happen here, and it can happen to Kenny, and it can happen to anyone.
Now, Kenny, I don't want to sound too cliche, but what is your business dream? For some entrepreneurs, it's $1 billion every year. For some small entrepreneurs, it's maybe $500,000 every 3 years.
All right.
What is enough for you? What is the dream?
Of course, I mean, in every business, we have our objective or we have our milestone. But again, money is only one portion of it. What I hope to see is basically a brand that we position out there. It's a brand that created by Malaysian, founded by Malaysian, and now it's a brand that doing business is in the other 13 countries around the region.
Made in Malaysia and servicing the world.
Yeah.
A very nice phrase indeed.
Right.
And final question, Kenny.
Yeah.
Some advice that you can share with all aspiring entrepreneurs out there.
I think being an entrepreneur, firstly, of course, is a very big word. But again, you should embrace it with all you can. And of course, being an entrepreneur, you should not be so mindful of what you are doing. You should not be so worried about the comments that perhaps even your closest friend might say about you. Right? Most important thing, you need to be focused, right? Because focus is where it will bring you forward.
Kenny says focus and concentration. That's his advice, because if you focus and you concentrate on your product, slowly but surely you're gonna make a lot of money. If you do want to give us some feedback, as usual, on our Facebook website, please do so. Other than that, this is Entrepreneur, folks, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Kenny, the same weekly drill as we always do with everybody else. We're not going to treat you any differently. Favorite food, first question?
Malaysian food.
Come on, be more
Right.
specific.
I always like nasi lemak.
Oh, okay, nasi lemak. Okay. Second question, favorite hobby?
Doing business.
Come on,
No?
you can't work.
Right.
Other than business.
Well, I have a passion for cars, so
Okay.
I'll spend a lot of time beside with my family. I will spend a lot of time in the workshop.
Okay. What car are you working on now?
Personally, I like BMWs, so
Okay.
you know, I'm working on something. Yeah.
Okay. One day, could we see you be Kenny Go, engineer, car entrepreneur? Is that a dream for you?
Perhaps I wouldn't say no.
Okay.
Anything is possible, especially in Malaysia, such a
Okay.
beautiful country.
Okay. Favorite overseas holiday spot?
I love to go Europe, right? Because of the weather and the shoppings, right? So I would love that.
Now, your son is about 11 months old. If he came up to you and said, Dad, in 10 years' time, I've only got $2 to start my business, what's your advice for him?
Go ahead. There's nothing wrong about having $2. Anything
Okay.
can happen, especially you're a Malaysian.
Okay. And what would you do with only $2 in your wallet? Stuck in the middle of nowhere.
I'll call my wife and say I love her.
Oh, such a romantic. Thank you very much, Kenny.
Thank you.